defund police, and what's your take on that?
This very dangerous policy that did not have the infrastructure at a time of such instability.
Welcome, Dr. Jennifer Tran.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. You are running for the 12th District. Is it district?
Yes.
Congressional seat. And that's why I want to talk to you today and want to know you, let the audience know you more. I would like to start with your family, your background. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yes, as you may know, I'm Vietnamese American, second generation, and my family were part of the Vietnamese boat people who came here after the 70s when they fled their homeland, and they first got to San Francisco and made their way to Oakland immediately. Well, if I may add, another typical thing was that my parents had saved up enough to buy a nail salon.
Oh, so they started a nail salon.
A nail salon in Oakland. And so after school, I would go to the nail salon and help take nail polish off and you know, count money.
Yeah,
and so that was my first training in small businesses. Yes.
And you grew up there, and you picked an interesting major. I mean, tell me about that. Is it your parents and want you to do that, or you just picked out your own?
Well, I had the fortune to explore different career paths. So originally I wanted to do environmental policy. So I pursued that when I was at UC San Diego, and I struggled with the coursework. And my dad, it was spring break, and he says, you know, you're not going to get a second chance at this, so you better pick something that you can live with. And so I researched all the fields, and I found urban planning, urban studies and planning at UC San Diego. And I was just fascinated by the field because you get to touch healthcare, land use planning, education, the environment, and everything that makes a city function or doesn't function. And I think that the work that I do today is an extension of that education.
Your dad was the Vietnamese Chambers of Commerce, and then you took over after that. So how's a small business? How's that do for you? Because I think you're working with a lot of small business in East Bay.
My dad has been involved with this organization, has been leading it for so many years, but like many immigrant-led organizations, there's not a lot of infrastructure, no funding,
support,
you know, no professional acumen to really push it into the mainstream. And I just saw our businesses struggling with lack of access to the grant opportunities and struggling with safety concerns and a lot of needs that weren't being met. And I was like, I told him, Dad, I want to get involved on the chamber. And he says, don't do it. It's a lot of drama.
Don't do it.
When you work with the community, it's a lot of drama, you know. And I said, but I think that we can really make a difference if we can unite and advocate.
How long ago? I mean, when
that was about
that?
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
So what did you see the last, I would say, 6 years, 7 years? We've been through all these crises.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, well, the last 6 years we've had, you know, changes in our federal government, you know, from presidency, and, you know, we've had different chiefs, police chiefs go through Oakland every year, and the cost of housing continues to climb, and businesses are asked to foot the bill. The frustration was an opportunity for me to communicate something that had been intensified because of the pandemic, but has always been there. Our communities have long been overlooked, underserved, and taken for granted. And we have been contributing, and we deserve to shape the policies that affect us. And so with that, you know, I've been very vocal about certain policies that meant well, such as, but was poorly executed, like defund the police.
Yeah. So speaking about defund police, and what's your take on that?
Yes. Well, the term defund the police actually was birthed in Oakland.
Yeah,
In
it was. Yeah, after that.
Yeah, but there was no plan. There was just this idea that we can just take 50% of the police and put it into social services and everyone's going to be safe. And the leaders behind this defund the police movement is actually my opponent, Latifah Simon, and the council members, Nikki Fortuna-Abbas and Carol Fife, who are current council members right now running for election for supervisor, and the other one's running for re-election. Mayor Sheng Tao was a leader in that movement as well when she was council. Now she's mayor, and DA Pam Price definitely doesn't help the situation when she is not holding people accountable to the crimes that they are committed. And what we have is this very dangerous policy that did not have the infrastructure to be implemented in our cities at a time of such instability, economically, security, and mentally, right? People are going through so much stress during a pandemic, and you destabilize them even more by removing some vital services. And to this day, they do not want to be accountable or take responsibility for that track record.
Yeah. You didn't have any experience working in the office, and this is the first time you're running. What's that really mean to you? Yeah.
Well, this seat is an extremely significant seat because it's been 25 years since the seat has been open.
Yeah.
Representative Barbara Lee has been in this seat, and she gave up her seat to run for U.S. Senate. And so we have an opportunity to take our district into a new direction. Congress could be a true partner for us, not only for Oakland and the cities in District 12, like Alameda, Berkeley, San Leandro, and the other 4 cities, Albany. And so I see this seat as belonging to anyone who has the best ideas and folks who are going to listen to everyone. So I believe that my background as a professor, being able to see the historical and larger arc of this country and understanding how systems work together, and my role as a small business leader in the region, and me being from the community allows me to bring the perspectives to solving these long-term challenges that we have.
You got 15%, 15.9% vote from the midterm, and shocked everybody. I mean, a lot of people thought that it was, oh, wait. And then, do you think that's a lot from the Asian community?
Well, it was split, right? Because Vice Mayor Tony Daysog is also Asian.
Okay.
And so he received, I believe it was just 11% or so.
11.
So we were 6,000 votes between us. And so I think that's really split the Asian vote, and also age-wise too, because he's older, and so a lot of Asian seniors.
And also he was in the office.
Yes. For 20 years.
For 20 years, yeah. So a lot of people know them as the office.
I believe that if it's anyone to say they have experience, if we want to just talk about years alone, Vice Mayor Tony Daysog had more experience than Latifah, myself, or anyone in that race. However, I think what was the determining factor was who not only has experience, but who has a plan. Right? And for 2 years that we've been in this race, we've had a robust plan of what we're going to do for public safety, for homelessness, for small businesses in the workforce, and increasing government efficiency. Whereas my opponent now, Latifah, has had not a single policy up until last week.
So, you're young. You're the next generation, the new generation of politicians, and technology. I want to ask you. We spoke about technology earlier.
Yes.
So, tell me a little bit more about that. Yeah.
Yes, my 4th priority in the Modern Cities Act, this is the legislation I hope to bring when I'm in Congress, is we are going to partner with our tech innovators and organizations that are forward thinking, and we're going to create an app that is going to allow every single user to be able to track how the government is spending their money. And so oftentimes people are afraid of AI and technology because it's going to replace people. But when we are able to identify the gaps and the overlaps and the inconsistencies, then we can redirect that towards new economies, new programs and training. We need to invest more in training for ending homelessness, and that's my plan as well.
Because you have to work with, the current, the different mayors and DAs and work together with that. So how can you?
Yes.
fix
Well, my first priority I mentioned earlier is around public safety. So we're going to set a national standard on police officers compared to population ratio. So we have enough officers. San Francisco has more people and yet more officers than Oakland.
Yeah.
And so we need more officers and
Less people. No, San Francisco has less people, but
less people,
more office.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for that. And yet, our officers are spread so thin, with the problems we have. And
Nobody want to work in Oakland. Afraid of working in Oakland.
And our officers don't feel appreciated, and they feel demoralized because of, the anti-police terror project, the Defund. And so in addition to that, we are planning to also integrate mental health into law enforcement so that they can receive the support so that they can be better officers, and also integrating social workers so that they can address nonviolent emergencies. And so that's going to be a plan that we have for every American city. Now, I bring that up because public safety is connected to homelessness. A lot of these people, I said these people in terms of people who are living on the streets, in their cars, in the parks, are concerned for public safety because they are turning to the extremes so that they can survive. And we're telling the people that we shouldn't have to choose between caring for people's well-being and their civil rights. They deserve the dignity to have housing and treatment. And how do we plan to do that? We plan to reopen our mental health hospitals that were closed, during the Reagan era, so that we can move folks from, prisons and detention centers into proper care. And we're also going to invest in drug rehabilitation centers as well, because people need help. In addition, we're going to expand the federal housing voucher to keep folks who are just $1,000 away from being displaced so that they can get into the jobs so that they can stay housed as well. So that's our plan for homelessness. And without that app, then we can't track how money is being spent for policing, for homelessness, and what's really and how our tax dollars are being spent, especially business tax dollars, individual income. So
we need to change that, and then we do need new thinking. I think that's how I think. New thinking, change.
And let me tell you this: you brought up the Asian factor, right? An immigrant factor. So being in an immigrant family, what do? We save.
We save, rent a house. Right?
You save. And then you build as you save, and you create a foundation for the future, and you all grow and you benefit from that.
Exactly.
And because of the sacrifices my family have made, and also the support I've received throughout my adolescence and adulthood, I've been able to build with very little.
Yeah.
Imagine what I can build with a team, with a community, everyone's involved, and being able to identify the waste that's happening and making the adjustment that's needed, through partnerships. And so I want to stabilize, and I want to bring us into the future by bringing federal dollars and hopefully partner with San Francisco and all of the Bay Area cities to do the same.
Yeah, we need a new Bay Area.
Yes,
coming up. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And good luck. And hopefully.
If I may say just some closing words. We are 1 week away from the election, and we are in the Bay Area. And many people says, there's no time. And I was like, we know what Steph Curry can do with a couple of seconds left, right?
Yep.
So for those who are watching, there's still ways to support. You can check out my website, which is www.drtran for
And then
Congress.
we'll put it right here.
You'll put it
somewhere
right there.
Right here, yeah.
And whether you want to donate, money or your time or share it online, we can use it all, because folks are afraid of change, but we embrace change. We want change. And so to do that, we need to work together.
And vote. And
vote.
It's very important.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's been really fun chatting with you today, and hope to engage with the viewers in the future.
Okay.